People of the world, welcome to What the Funcast episode 142, including a summer 2022 preview of the hottest games and movies coming to your eyeballs. I'm one of your hosts, Paul, and joining me is the one and only Ahmed. Hello, Ahmed.
Hello. What's up?
Not much. Lots of shitty news today, but we were just talking about that, so obviously. Anyway. We are thinking a lot about all the news that's out there. Obviously, there's an elementary school shooting today. Someone apparently tried to kill George Bush.
What?
George W. Bush. You didn't see that?
No.
They foiled the plot. They foiled the plot from somebody that was going to assassinate George Bush, or planning to assassinate George Bush. Anyway, no offense to George Bush, but I think the elementary school shooting takes precedent today. So
yeah, I'd say so.
18 children have died. And I don't even know if there's words to describe the feelings that either of us feel right now. So I don't want to be negligent and say that we're not thinking about it, but I also don't want to be like, hey, thanks for listening. Let's make this miserable and sad and bring you back into the news that you're trying to escape. So it's, you guys, a lot of you know our feelings on the world, our feelings on things. So we will not go too in depth into that, but just know that not everything is all hunky-dory in the world, especially today.
Yes, we are acknowledging it, very upset about it, and we're going to move on from it in the best way we know how, and it's to talk about frivolous things like video games and movies and try to bring some light into the world.
Yeah, so
I guess.
Without further ado, Ahmed, what have you been doing? Tell me about Godzilla, The Final Wars. What the hell is that?
Okay, that is the most insane movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's like one of those old Godzilla movies?
Yeah, it's a Japanese one. So my roommate obviously is a huge Godzilla fan. I don't know, I say obviously as if I mentioned this on the podcast before. I don't know if I did, but my roommate's a huge Godzilla fan. And so one night he's like, hey, you want to watch Godzilla Final Wars? And I was like, I don't know what that is, but okay. So we sat down and watched it, and it was like the dubbed version of this old Japanese movie. I say old, it's like from the early 2000s. I think it's from 2004? Yeah, 2004.
That's not that old, Ahmed.
Okay, that is almost 20 years old. That's fairly old. But anyway, it was the most, like, batshit insane, crazy movie I've ever seen. It's not even really... It's like kind of a Godzilla movie, but it's not. Like, Godzilla's there, but the story is not about Godzilla at all. It's about like this alien race that's trying to like destroy humanity or something, and like, I don't know, it's absolutely nuts. Like, at one point I literally was like, this is fun and interesting, but where's Godzilla at? We haven't seen him in a while. There's a lot happening. There's like a weird love story, there's like karate, there's kung fu. I don't know, it's something. Godzilla Jr. is there, and he looks like a Teletubby. It's like Godzilla's lost son. It's something. It sure is
Godzilla
something.
Jr., please.
Can you please just Google Godzilla Jr.? You'll see
so hold on.
mean.
So I'm on the Wikipedia page. This movie, the budget was 1.9 billion yen, and the box office was only 1.2 billion yen. So it lost a lot of money.
Billion yen to USD. That is $15 million.
Oh, that's really not nearly as big of a budget I was giving it credit for.
No, but that's still like a significant amount of money for what is an insane movie. I cannot describe it. I don't know how to describe it. I barely even remember it because it was a lot going on. Anyways, besides that, I haven't really been playing a bunch of video games because I spent a lot of time outdoors this past week. It's just been like really, really, really nice weather, and I think I've been so like, because the past 2 summers we basically have done nothing. Like, I don't know, even summer 2021 we didn't do much, even though there was kind of a relief in COVID stuff. Like, I still didn't travel that much or go out. So like this summer I feel like I am physically incapable of staying at home, so I've just been out all the time. Like, this whole weekend I spent outdoors. I was on boats. I went concerts. I went and saw Orville Peck in concert at like last minute. The tickets were the show had been sold out for months, but then I like ended up buying a scalped one on StubHub like 30 minutes before the doors opened.
You did buy a scalp ticket? Okay.
Well, not a scalped one, like a resold one, whatever, on StubHub.
Yeah, a scalp ticket. Yeah,
close enough. But like,
how much was it?
It was like 50. Earlier when I was checking on StubHub, they were like 100, and I was like, I'm good. But then they were dropping to 50 on the day of the show, and I'm like, all right, I could do that. It was great, no regrets. It was a really fun show. But yeah, besides that, I've just watched like a few episodes here and there. I'm still like very, very slowly working my way through Peacemaker, just like episode 1 or 2 episodes here and there. But the show is really good. I just can't bring myself to binge it because when I do watch it, it's usually pretty late at night. I don't know. I have a weird thing about like watching TV when the sun is up. I'm like, I could be outdoors enjoying the sun and photosynthesizing. So I've been watching a few episodes here and there of that, and also of Russian Doll Season 2, which is so good. I don't think you ever watched Russian Doll Season 1, but that show is really, really good. And it's only 30-minute episodes, so it's pretty short, and it's like easily bingeable. Season 2 is off to a good start so far, even though the whole thing is out and I could binge it, but I just don't binge things. But all that said, there is a ton of TV coming out this summer, as well as movies, as well as games. Well, no, there's not that many games, but there's a ton of movies and TV, which we'll get into in our Summer 2022 preview. But we have a very light news week, so we'll just go through those 2 news items and then talk about that stuff. But before we do that, Paul, what have you been doing for the past week?
I'm literally searching through Netflix. So I feel like we've watched stuff, but then I feel like I haven't.
I forgot.
So I watched a video on how jelly beans are made last night.
Oh, that's exciting.
There's like cocaine in them, apparently.
What? Opium?
I don't know. It was like, I don't know. I gotta like, you know what? Let me just look.
Is it like how, like, a poppy seed bagel, like poppy seeds have like opium or something, and it's like an opioid, and so it could test you positive on a drug test or whatever it is? I don't know. I know I just butchered that, and that's not actually what it is, but is it related to that at all?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe, what's Hugbees? Maybe
Folks,
this,
he doesn't know.
I don't know. Maybe the video, like, it came up as a suggested video when we watched it, and it seemed legit. And then they were like, look at all this cocaine. I'm like, wait a second. This doesn't sound right. Maybe I was boondoggled. Anyway.
In some good news, there's a new Defunctland video up about a haunted
Garfield
ride. Yeah.
I saw that. I didn't watch it yet, but I saw it.
I've been like watching it in pieces as I eat, like in like little 10-minute chunks. It's because it's a 30-minute one, but it's really fascinating. Everything that man does is so good.
His videos are so good. So, I'm trying to look at what else. Watched the Jordan Klepper versus the Iowans last night, who still think that Trump won. What else? Those videos are so funny to me. Some Pokemon videos. Oh my God, Saturday Night Live. So we watched. So Pete Davidson's officially leaving Saturday Night Live.
Oh, honestly, I'm surprised that didn't happen earlier. He's like too famous for that show now.
Yeah, and so did Kate McKinnon though, and she could play like any character on Saturday Night Live.
That's a big loss to their cast.
Yeah,
like she was carrying that show.
She really was. She could literally play anybody. So I'm looking back at the videos that I watched on YouTube. AC unit installation guide. I wonder where I was watching that from. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like if we've watched a lot of random stuff, like we mounted our TV in the bedroom, so it's been like, I don't know, just the way it is. It's very, I don't know, just like it looks really nice. So like I've been putting on like random movies at night. So like 2 nights ago I put on Cars 1.
Mm-hmm.
Last night I put on Toy Story 2. I don't even remember Toy Story 2 starting. I hit the OK button on the remote, started the movie, and I was dead. I was gone. It was like, yeah. Woodrow Wilson was on the screen, and I was snoozing.
Woodrow Wilson. I don't even remember what's the intro to Toy Story 2? Don't tell me. It's the Star Wars one, right? I'm pretty sure it's the Star Wars, like the
Buzz, and Rex is playing the video game, and then they're going to do the yard sale. They take Wheezy, and then Woody goes. Yeah. I do vaguely remember this. I think I heard the movie playing in my dreams. So I've been putting on these random Pixar movies, but anyway, what else have we watched? I don't know. There's a bunch of shit we have to watch. We started watching this like random show on Netflix. We got through like half the first episode. It was like not American Pickers, but not Storage Wars, but something in between. I don't know. It was weird.
Netflix. So I realized this. I don't know, I was reading some article a while ago, and I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but there's just an overabundance of Netflix shows that are all like the same thing, but just a little bit different.
Yeah,
and
it's
like
bad.
They just put, and like I didn't realize how different the Netflix looks like to different people. So like my Netflix, I guess because I watch a lot of Netflix originals, focuses exclusively on the originals. Whereas my roommate's Netflix whenever he's logged into his account and he like lets it idle and it shows like that slideshow of shows, it's only showing him like actual old movies and like no Netflix originals. And just like there's so much content that to me I'm like, oh, Netflix just has the originals. They barely have any other movies. And I'm like, what do you mean Blade Runner's on Netflix? And like all these other classic movies that I had no idea are on there. So
the Netflix algorithm is batshit insane.
It's nuts. I mean, it knows what I want, which is wild. But I'm also like, damn, I didn't even know that these other things were an option. Like, otherwise I would maybe engage with them. I don't know. It's very
right.
strange.
I do wish that there was more opportunity to get some of the content like in your face.
Yeah.
And it's just not. So for us, it's a lot of Netflix originals as well. But it advertises stuff that we've already watched. Like it keeps advertising Bridgerton and
I still have to watch season 2 of that.
Ginny and Georgia and like all these shows that we've watched already. And I'm like, why are you advertising this to us? Like we've seen this before. But yeah, so I don't know, like I've been looking for, I don't know, I've been in a very, and like I go through phases, as you may or may not know from,
I've met you once or twice.
Your crazy friendship with me. I go through these phases where it's like, I need like to just consume short form media and not even like a TV show. I just need like little things, which is why I've become so obsessed with YouTube, and YouTube Premium is the best purchase I make every month. And, like,
I was shocked that took me that long. Ever since you'd be watching long videos and have ads, and it would be like 3 ads in a row. And I'm like, how do you live like this?
Yeah, it's bad. But yeah, no, it's great now. So, I don't know. I like watching short form videos on YouTube that are like factual that I get something out of.
Yeah.
Not like, because if I want TikTok, I'd go on TikTok. If I want like stupid videos that are like TikTok but a little bit longer, I'll go on Facebook or Instagram. But like I want like Defunctland type stuff that are like 10 or 15 minutes. You know what? We watched a bunch of stuff that were 10 or 15 minutes. Hold on a second. What the hell was it?
Digs.
I'm like going through my YouTube history and nothing's coming up. I found the 30 minutes that was streamed of Zed's EDC Las Vegas set.
Oh, nice.
That was good. Yeah, it was great.
I'm surprised because they had like, so EDC was this past weekend if everyone was under a rock, in Las Vegas. And so they had streams for each of the stages. And I figured that like Zed was on one of those stages. Why would they cut off the stream if the stream's for that stage? Like, what are they cutting to? That's what I'm not understanding.
I don't know.
Someone was watching the curated stream.
I really don't.
Specific one.
Like there was a lot of stuff going around about apparently like Zed's team chose to cut off the stream or something. Like there was like controversy amongst the fans.
So did it just cut to like a we'll be back shortly kind of thing for the next 30 minutes?
I was not awake at 3:30 a.m. Ahmed. I don't know.
You should have been.
I know I should have been, but I wasn't.
I'm disappointed in you.
You should be disappointed. So what we have been watching, and I'm ashamed to even talk about this, is there are YouTubers out there that make videos about Costco products. I found my space on the internet.
Oh my God.
It's like there's people that talk about like new sales at Costco. There's people that talk about like products at Costco, and we've started watching some of those stupid ass videos. So
here's my theory about those. These people probably watch like Disney vloggers, and they were like, well, we don't live next to Disney, but we sure do live next to a Costco, and we could probably do this exact same thing for Costco.
So hold on, Tim Tracker has made like Target shopping videos. So Target,
maybe he's learning from the Costco ones.
Target and Costco are cults. So we were leaving Costco last night.
Valid.
And Lauren, like, put, like, this cooling blanket in the cart and, like, this Mexican street corn that's just, like, frozen. She's like, yeah, I saw, like, some of this stuff on, like, the Costco Facebook groups. And so we're leaving, and you know how they check your receipt.
Yeah.
By the way, I saw the grape leaves at Costco yesterday for the first time in my entire life.
Yes, buy them. Did you buy them?
I didn't buy them.
Oh, my God. They are so... They genuinely... Like, my mom would buy them and then serve them to me as if she made them. And I'm like, yeah, wow, this is so good. It's just like every time. She's like, you don't notice anything different? I'm like, no, it tastes just like you make it every time. She's like, they're from Costco. I was like, what? So they're really good. They're Egyptian mom certified.
Interesting. So we're leaving, and the woman's like, oh, this cooling blanket seems really interesting. But, sorry, I ate the last pretzel in my bag. This cooling blanket seems very interesting. But, you know, I'm afraid that, like, my body heat's going to, like, make it warm or whatever. And Lauren's like, I saw it on one of the Facebook groups, the Costco Facebook groups, and they, like, rave about it. And she's like, oh, my God, I'm in all the Costco Facebook groups, too. And I'm like, this is a cult. Like, how do you not understand this? As the cult leader, this is a cult.
I was just going to say, are you not, like, the leader of this cult? Are you not a part of it?
I am the leader of the cult. Okay, what else happened? So I played a lot more Rogue Legacy 2. Buy that damn game and play it, please, before I gift it to you.
Paul, do you understand how many games I have to play? And that I don't? I'm not going to buy another one.
I don't care.
I did redeem Borderlands 3 for free on Epic Game Store, which if you have a gaming PC or whatever, go to Epic Game Store and claim that game. It's available for 2 more days. Sale ends, or the free period ends May 26th.
So I cannot get into my Epic Games account.
That's a problem for you. I don't know what to tell you. Is it not linked to your Fortnite account?
I have reached out to Epic Games 3 times now.
Do you not remember your password, or is it that it's like, did you sign in with Xbox?
It's maybe, it's two-factor authentication, and it goes through my old email address for some reason. I don't know why, because I'm pretty sure I changed that. But anyway, yeah. Let me just redeem this on this other Epic Games account that I made. Here we go. Anyway, it's very frustrating. I opened up a ticket for this exact issue, and they're like, they had the effing nerve to be like, hello, Cooper. They're like, how was your experience with our ticketing system? I'm like, F you guys, you haven't even responded to me. So I was pissed.
Did you own anything on the account that you can't get into?
Yes!
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
I redeemed a shitload of games, and I was just very frustrating.
Precious V-Bucks, probably.
No, I have no problem getting into it on Fortnite or anything. It's just on my PC. It won't let me in. It's like, you need to verify yourself on your Opt Online account. Then guess what? I don't have an Opt Online account anymore. They deleted it because I don't have Opt Online anymore.
You probably linked it. You probably signed in with Xbox. Is your Xbox still linked to your Opt Online account?
No.
Then that's weird. I don't know why that would be linked to that.
It's just so frustrating. Very strange. So
maybe it's from like when you first ever authenticated with them, like way back in the day. I can't even think for what games, but
I don't know. But I checked my email and there was nothing there, and I was like, "What the hell?" And it's just very frustrating. So I'll check my email again while we're recording and see if they said anything new to me, which I don't think they did. But yeah, and then we found a leak in the wall in the basement, so that's fun.
Oh, that's what you were talking about. I thought you were like referring to the original leak, and then you were like,
"Oh no! This is so a real quick story." So the way our house is set up, we have a faucet in the front yard and a faucet in the backyard. And,
for like a hose, you mean?
Oh, interesting. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie collection. I'm getting all these Wario 64 deals. Yes, for a hose. And there's a spigot in the front, spigot in the back. Spigot in the back, we have not found the shutoff, it turned out to be right in front of my face, but that's another story. So we couldn't find the shutoff going into the hose in the back, so we were like, whatever, we're just not going to use it. So we were going to use it to spray off the deck because there's like stuff from the trees or whatever. So my mom had come over and she's like, "Oh, like I can help you find it or whatever." And we like traced out all of them. What I thought was for the water heater, it turned out to be the on off. So I turned it on, or my mom turned it on. I was outside and I'm like, "Oh my god, the water's on," and it's coming out. And so whatever, we're like, "Oh great." Sure. Well, no. So then I'm sitting on the couch down here. We're talking because she was helping us like organize stuff, and I still hear like the water, like like sometimes when you flush the toilet and they hear the pipes, like the water going through the pipes or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why does it sound like the water is still like gushing out the faucet? Like I turned off the faucet. So I'm sitting there and I look out the window and like there's like the water still coming down onto the pavement, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I look out there, and sure enough, the water is streaming from like the base of the house out, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
My god.
And so we turn off the water real quick, and I turn on the faucet outside to get whatever water's left. There's got to be a hole somewhere in there that the water's getting down onto the ground and seeping out the house.
Yikes.
Thankfully though, like thank God 1,000 times, it's not something that like we'd have to shut off all the water in the house. Like there's an on-off valve specifically for that line going out to the outside. So,
yeah.
So we called the plumber, and yeah, it's just another effing
I guess
nightmare.
It's not like super urgent.
My concern is like
that it's going to rot the pipe. Wall.
Well, right, and like, is there mold back there? Like, I don't. I think that it's been off for a long time, and in the time that like between the time that we bought the house and even before when the house was sitting stagnant, I don't think anybody used that hose back there.
Yeah.
Because there was no hose ever connected to it. There was always a hose connected to the one out in the front. So.
Yeah, and also like because like your backyard isn't technically yours. So like, what do you even need
Right.
the hose for? Where like I guess up there then to fill a hot tub. I don't know. Whereas the front
A
one,
hot
you can
tub,
actually,
a
like,
pool,
use your-
perhaps.
whatever, you know what I mean? Jacuzzi, hot tub, pool. Whatever
Yeah.
Versus like the front one, that's your front lawn. Like you can water plants with it or whatever. So interesting.
Yeah,
That's
so
annoying,
it was
but-
one of those things where I was like, wow, we got the hose working. Wow, turn that shit off. The house is going to flood. So.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but like that's just it's
No.
home ownership
It
sounds
was-
like a trip.
It wasn't like I was pissed off in the beginning, and now it's like it is what it is. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So,
You learn something new every day.
so
Very
yeah,
exciting.
so that's been my life. But Rogue Legacy 2 is great. I'm going to gift you the game so that you can play it and or not play it.
Please don't give me the game. I will buy it
gonna
of
do
my own volition one day when it comes to Game Pass.
No, I'm going to gift it to you right now.
Sure. Whatever you say. All right. Now that we are a little over 20 minutes into the episode, let's jump into all of our 2 hot news items, both of which are honestly not even like the biggest news items, but I just wanted to talk about something before we jump into the Summer 22 preview. So let's start off with Hot News Entertainment. NBC Universal apparently almost acquired or merged with EA. That is Electronic Arts. So this one came from Jeff Keighley first. And then I found some more detail about it because the article that he linked is behind a paywall, and I'm not paying for that. The article that he linked is from Puck News, and he goes, Electronic Arts was set to merge with NBC Universal. 4 sources with knowledge of the proposal told Puck News, but the deal fell apart last month. This was tweeted like 4 days ago, so last month being in April. So I found an article from Kotaku that kind of summarizes the whole story here and says, in recent years, as media companies have taken greater interest in the rapidly growing gaming industry, Wilson and Electronic Arts have held talks with a number of different potential suitors, including Disney, Apple, and Amazon. Sources with knowledge of those talks told me, wrote Puck's veteran media reporter Dylan Byers. Several sources familiar with these talks say that EA has been persistent in pursuing a sale and has only grown more emboldened in the wake of the Microsoft Activision deal. Others say that EA is primarily interested in a merger arrangement that would allow Wilson, the CEO of EA, to remain as the chief executive of the combined company. But it was apparently a deal with NBC Universal that got the farthest along. According to Byers, Comcast CEO Brian Roberts was looking to spin off the entertainment conglomerate into a separate entity with EA, with one version of the deal leaving current EA CEO Andrew Wilson in charge of the new mega business. But negotiations eventually fell apart over price. So this would have been wild. I don't know. EA's we talked about how they lost the rights to FIFA. Their rights to the Star Wars franchise, like exclusivity at least, are running out in 2023. So they... I don't know. They're in a weird spot, I think, and struggling to be competitive. And so I can see why they're trying to sell before they lose all their valuation and just die a slow and painful death. But I don't know that NBC Universal would have been the move. I feel like that would have been even worse for them, but who's to say? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. We're in such a weird time where all these acquisitions are happening, and it's just strange to me. Electronic Arts, don't get me wrong, I think there's value there. Not as much value as there once was, for sure, because they screwed up, like you said, Battlefront 2, Battlefront 1, and all this stuff, right? So, they lost their contract with FIFA, so that is even kind of out the door.
Out the dinner.
Out the door. So it's a weird spot. And, how soon until Madden becomes EA NFL? I mean, I don't know. It seems like they're trying to cut back a little bit, so... I don't know. Merging with or having NBC Universal buy them, what would really change? I don't know.
Yeah, it almost sounds like they would get... that is true. Justin in the chat is saying we are in an era where IP is king, and that's very true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what would have changed for them besides getting more funding, I guess, for things, but I feel like the problem with EA in recent years hasn't been lack of funding. It's just been their ideas have not been great. They keep fumbling the ball, so to speak. I don't know.
It Takes Two was good.
It Takes Two was good, but that's kind of like an outlier, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean...
That's not like a gangbuster, that's not selling everywhere. It's not a AAA site. It's one of those, movies that win Best Movie at the Oscar. Those aren't necessarily, the blockbusters,
Right.
So
Yeah, I hear you. Let me see here.
it's a weird spot. I guess we'll see what happens with them. I wouldn't be surprised if we woke up one day to like Sony acquires EA. Assuming they have, I don't know, they feel like they must have talked to them at this point. Like, I don't know why they would go, like, potential shooters would be Disney, Apple, and Amazon above, like, Sony or just any other bigger game company. Maybe Embracer Group, the company that just bought a bunch of...
Not the Embracer Group.
What do they buy?
The Square, Eidos Montreal.
Yes, Eidos Montreal, Crystal Dynamics, and...
Yeah, Crystal Dynamics.
Square Montreal, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Like, looking at some of these games, like the EA Originals program started with Unravel, Fee, A Way Out, Unravel 2, Sea of Solitude, Rocket Arena, It Takes Two, Knockout City, and Lost in Random.
Remember Rocket Arena? That game really had potential, honestly, but I don't know what happened. Like, it wasn't not fun when we played it. It just never had a player base.
Yeah, so what about, like, the EA label games here?
Yeah, because as a publisher, they publish a lot of stuff. They published the BioWare games, like Mass Effect and Dragon Age, right?
Yes, correct. BioWare, Codemasters, Criterion Games, EA Baton Rouge, EA Chilingo, EA Galway, Gothenburg, Mobile.
Oh, are these
EA
all different
Sports,
studios?
Yeah, Motive Studios, Pogo Studios, PopCap Games. Holy shit, I haven't heard that name in years.
PopCap. Yeah, no, I'd say...
Respawn Entertainment.
Oh, Respawn's a part of them. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Ripple Effect Studio, Spearhead, Unnamed Studio in Seattle. Unnamed Studio in Seattle.
Unnamed... What?
Oh, they're founded like last year.
Respawn Entertainment.
Respawn does Bioshock, or not Bioshock, Titanfall.
Yes, and Apex. Okay.
And Apex.
All right, so
and
that's
Jedi
like
Fallen Order.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So like they have some big IPs still for sure.
Yeah,
like,
they're definitely not like dying, but I think they're kind of panicking
They've
as a result
lost their
of all
steam.
as a result of all the they can't be as competitive in a market where Microsoft owns Bethesda and can throw their unlimited Microsoft money at it.
Right.
Oh, and now Activision obviously as well. So
right.
Very interesting stuff. So we'll see what happens with that. Stay tuned for more on EA. All right, you want to take us home with our next and final, our second and final news item before we jump into the Summer 22?
Yeah, it's funny because as I was like thinking about doing the episode tonight, and Ahmed and I were texting about news and stuff like that, I was just like, this whole PlayStation Plus thing is such an effing nightmare. Like, it's just so frustrating.
Keeps getting
and sure
more
enough, let's talk about it.
Yes.
So there's more news coming out about PlayStation Plus 2.0. It's looking to be just as much of a headache as the PS4 to PS5 game upgrades, maybe even worse. So this comes from Kotaku, which the PS Plus overhaul is now live in Asia, and it combines PlayStation Now and breaks up your additional benefits across 3 tiers. So you have Essentials, which is the same as a current subscription, Extra, which includes like a Game Pass-esque library, games on demand, and Premium, which gives subscribers access to cloud streaming and classic games. But those 2 new tiers are now $100 and $120 annually, and it requires an existing PlayStation Plus subscriber to actually upgrade to them, which makes sense. This is me kind of paraphrasing this Kotaku article.
Yeah.
Now, to get into some of the verbatim stuff here, what some players are finding is that if they had previously purchased a discounted version of PlayStation Plus, they now need to pay the difference to fully upgrade to the new, more expensive tiers.
Which
here's how
they noted that, but the way that they do it is very
right. Here's how one post that's been getting a lot of attention on the PlayStation Plus subreddit explains it. For example, if you purchased 1 year of PlayStation Plus for 25% off, which is $45, to update to the extra plan, you need to pay 100 minus 45 equals 55, not 100 minus 60 equals 40. So
if you bought it at a discount, they're going to make you pay for that discount.
I think we have to be careful here because I don't think that, like, let's say you bought it at, I don't know, let's say you bought it at Target for $40 instead of $60. They're not going to know that you bought it for $40.
Correct. Yeah, this is
going
only
to be
if it's a discount
if you bought
from
it,
the PlayStation Store itself.
Correct.
But it's shitty that they wouldn't just honor the original value and let you upgrade.
Yeah.
That they're like, haha, you got a deal one time, sucker.
Right.
Like, what?
Yeah, I want to say that this is a one-off where, people are going through and they're pretty much, on like PlayStation Plus 20% off. But either way, any way you slice it, it's stupid. So I just don't understand why that's the case, but it is what it is. So let's see what happens when it comes to America, which I believe is in just a few short weeks. I believe June 13th rings a bell.
Yeah, 13th or 16th, one of those, somewhere in there.
Yeah. And one of the things that, has been noted is that the classic PS1 games, those are actually going to have, like, new filters and achievements and, not achievements, trophies. At least I saw something about trophies. I think it was for the classic games.
Yes, and not all of them will have trophies, but there is the option if the developer wants to add trophies. So some will have trophies, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, which is cool. So I do think that Sony and Microsoft, well, Sony and Microsoft, right, are just in two totally different ball games. Like, it's just they're so far apart from each other that it's kind of sad.
Yeah. Remember when? So for context, and the reason that we're like kind of complaining about this, maybe to someone that isn't privy, this sounds like normal, and you're like, yeah, you have to pay the difference. Blah blah blah. When Microsoft merged Xbox Live and Xbox Game Pass into one service that's Game Pass Ultimate, if you had 3 months of Xbox Live left that you'd paid for, and you had 20 months of Xbox Game Pass that you'd paid for, they just combined those and said, you now have 23 months of Game Pass Ultimate. Congrats. And it was the easiest upgrade process. There was no, like, penny pinching on Microsoft's part. Like, we basically, like, I think I had paid for Xbox Live out of, like, 3 years in advance because I got it on sale somewhere, and I had played for Xbox Game Pass like 3 years in advance. So I now have 6 years of Game Pass Ultimate, basically, from when they merged it. Like, so they definitely lost money on that. What do you mean it's half true? That's exactly what happened.
They converted Game Pass into Game Pass Ultimate. It wasn't a 1-for-1 swap. It was
90% sure that they combined the months that I had, because I now have Game Pass out into like a ridiculous amount of time, and I didn't have that before.
Fake news. Let's find out.
I remember this happening.
Game Pass Ultimate.
Because I was like, this is incredible. Thank you. And they just gave you all the time immediately. I promise you this has happened. You can look that up.
Fake news.
We jump into the Summer 2022 preview. Anyway, this is all to say that PlayStation is handling this possibly as poorly as you could handle anything. And Microsoft handled it with grace.
Yeah, no, for sure. So
here we go. Let's see. For $1, Microsoft will combine your current Xbox Live Gold and/or Xbox Game Pass subscriptions into a unified Xbox Game Pass Ultimate membership. So if you say you have subscriptions to both through the end of 2019, this article was written 3 years ago, it'd take 5 months of each and turn out a new 10-month Xbox Game Pass Ultimate membership. Suddenly,
you are in fact right. Thank you.
I told you.
Congratulations. Thanks. I'm very proud of you, Ahmed. But
yeah, right.
So all that to say, it was a hell of a lot easier than Sony pinching pennies.
Yes.
Maybe don't buy Bungie and, instead don't pinch pennies to
Remember
us.
the Bungie purchase? I totally forgot about that one. Anyways.
Yeah, it's a waste.
All right. Now that we are a little bit halfway through the episode, let's jump into the summer 2022 preview. We've got a ton of things to go through here. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to, like, trade off one by one, or?
Sure. Let's trade off one by one, and hopefully my glasses will be clean by the time I'm on the next one.
Perfect. All right. I will start off. This comes from a combination of both IndieWire and Screen Rant, and we're going to kick it off with TV first, because there is a ton of TV shows, and then a ton of movies, and then, like, 6 games. Summer is never really great for game releases. Those are all coming in the fall. So we'll talk about that when the time comes. All right, kicking things off in TV land, Stranger Things Season 4 premieres this Friday, May 27th on Netflix. It has been 3 years since Stranger Things 3.
What?
Right?
3 years?
Mm-hmm. It's been a lot.
Anyway.
Also known as the one with the murder goo. And Hawkins is an all-out war with the Upside Down. Details about Stranger Things 4 have been kept tight, but trailers show 11 giving without her powers, Hopper in a Russian prison, and the remaining Hawkins gang facing an extremely creepy mansion that seems to be the epicenter of this war. Volume 1 of Season 4 hits Netflix May 27th with 7 supersized episodes. And when I say supersized, each one is like an hour and 15 minutes. And then Volume 2 on July 1st with Episode 8 and a whopping 2.5-hour finale. They're basically dropping like 9 feature-length films this season, which is absolutely insane. So you'll get the first 7 of those 9 total episodes on May 27th. And this is the penultimate season. There's one more season of the show, and then it's over, unless Netflix gets greedy, but I don't think they will. I mean, who's to say? Maybe they will. But it is scheduled to be a 5-season run total. But this is insane. I didn't realize this season was going to be this long. So
yeah, this is very over the top. Like, you have like, wow, that's kind of excessive. An hour and 15 minutes an episode, whatever. And then 2.5 hours for the finale is insane.
Like, this is 9 movies. This is Stranger Things.
Like,
the
what
saga.
the hell? What the hell are they going to dive into? Like, back to the Upside Down we go. Yeehaw! You know, like,
I have no idea.
Anyway,
I take
I'm so excited
solace.
for it.
Yeah, I take solace in the fact that, like, since season 1, the directors and writers were like, this show has 5 seasons, we have it all planned out. So it's not like they keep on, like, pulling at things. Like, they had a plan this whole time, which is good, as opposed to, like, oh, it's doing really successful, let's make things up and keep going. So
that's true. That's true. I hope it is, too. I enjoy Stranger Things. I do think that this is beyond excessive, but hey, whatever. We've got Stranger Things Season 4, the movie. So... also coming this week is Obi-Wan Kenobi. So this is the long-awaited series finally coming to Disney Plus, like I said, on May 27th. Set 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith, which is Episode 3, the last of the 3 prequels. Disney Plus series Obi-Wan Kenobi finally reveals the dark aftermath of the Jedi Holocaust at the behest of Sith Lord Darth Vader.
Behest?
Played by Hayden...
Behest.
Oh, behest. Anyway.
Sorry.
I almost said beheist, so thank you. Played by Hayden Christensen, Ewan McGregor wields a lightsaber once more as Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is now living in hiding on Tatooine and watching over a young Luke Skywalker from a distance. While the plot has been mostly kept under wraps, Disney Plus showrunner, veteran, and director Deborah Chow confirmed Obi-Wan will be hunted by an Inquisitor played by Moses Ingram. Obi-Wan will also properly square off again with Vader in a highly anticipated battle years in the making. Joel Edgerton, Kumail Nanjiani. I'm so bad with these names. Like, I can read them with my eyes, but then when it comes to speaking them, no. Maya Erskine, Rupert Friend, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Sung Kang, and Benny Safdie. Safdie.
Yeah.
Round out the ensemble Obi-Wan Kenobi cast, which will no doubt have a few more cameos up its Jedi robe sleeves.
I didn't realize it had such a great cast. I had no idea. Maya Erskine is from the Hulu show Pen 15, and I really loved her there. So I'm excited to see her in this. And obviously we know Kumail Nanjiani from Eternals, among other things.
I have never seen one Eternals.
You haven't seen Eternals yet, really?
No.
Anyways, that's fine. You're not missing out.
I've been holding
too much.
out. It's like everyone's like, "Oh, it's not good." So I'm like, "Okay, let me not watch it then."
I mean, just watch it on Disney Plus. Whatever. You're always throwing on movies. You can fall asleep to it.
I know. Oh, it's 3 hours. I'll die.
It's fairly long for no reason.
Yeah. Joel Edgerton. Who is this man?
You know him if you see him. I don't know.
I'm looking at his face. I don't know what movies he's in though.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. He's
Revenge
in
of the Sith as a young Owen Lars, a role he will reprise.
He's in... Where do I know him from? Oh, he was in The Green Knight most recently is where I know him from. But I don't know him in anything else. He's in The King.
He's in Red Sparrow. Thing. Okay.
Yeah. Boy
The Great
Erased,
Gatsby.
Great Gatsby. Yeah.
Oh, whatever. I don't know any of these movies. Just
sure,
kidding. I do.
He just has a face that I recognize. Anyways, The Boys season 3, June 3rd on Prime Video.
The Boys.
You need to watch this show. I think you would really enjoy it.
I don't know where that came from.
I don't know where it came from either. But it's really good. Season 3 promises somehow even more blood, guts, and gore. No wonder that the series regular Laz Alonso confirmed that Season 3 uses 3 times the amount of blood from Season 2, which is absolutely insane. But the show is it's ridiculous. It's very fun, enjoyable. Would recommend.
Yeah, you've told me this like 12 times now, so maybe I'll watch the show one day.
Maybe it's time to catch up. before Stranger Things movies drop.
All right, Miss Marvel is coming June 8th to Disney Plus. I am so hyped about this show. From the minute Disney Plus announced plans for Miss Marvel, fans were thrilled. No disrespect to Wanda Maximoff, Elizabeth Olsen, and WandaVision, but everything about Miss Marvel feels like it's on another level. The series tells the story. By the way, we didn't cite any credits here. So
I did. At the beginning, it was both IndieWire and Screen Rant. I just pulled from
Oh,
both of
you
them.
did say that. You did say that. Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
I heard that. It didn't register. I'm like, oh, there's no link. Thank you, IndieWire and Screen Rant. The series tells the story of New Jersey, a raised teen, Kamala Khan, played by Iman Vellani, who discovers she has superpowers. Outside of what it means for little girls of color to see that they can be superheroes, it's been a minute. Did this come from the article or is this you?
No, that came from the article, but it does have my voice, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. It's been a minute since Marvel shows have embraced the fun of being a kid, at least in their television output, which have tended to focus on adults. If you watched the short-lived Marvel 616 series on Disney Plus back in 2020, which I saw this recently, like I saw it there, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
Honestly, I remember it was like in the lineup of Disney Plus, they were like, and we're having this show called Marvel 616. I'm like, I don't know what that is, and I still don't,
right.
But
You're just like, whatever. There's a whole prep episode on Kamala Khan by showing how Marvel comics are being used by high schoolers who do theater. It showed the societal impact of Marvel's female characters and why Miss Marvel is so important. Also, who doesn't want to see a girl from Jersey embrace being a superhero? They're not wrong. They're 100% right. The trailers look so good. I'm very excited for the show.
I'm real excited for this one because this was like one of the only comics that I actually bought and read. I like gifted to my nieces. So I was like, "Ooh, this is you. You'll enjoy this."
You can't read. Don't lie.
I promise. Those are the only ones I ever bought and read. All right, Only Murders in the Building, June 28th. Only Murders in the Building, season 2, June 28th on Hulu. The Hulu murder mystery is one of the funnest, sharpest series to come out last year, and the organic ending of season 1 and lead into season 2 has kept fans on the edge of their seats. One can only imagine the fun, intrigue, and dips that will abound. The season will also see new characters played by Cara Delevingne and the legend Shirley MacLaine pop into the Arconia. Honestly, we need another frizzy whatever. I'm really excited for the show. Like I was saying before with Peacemaker and like Russian Doll, like I love those shows. I'm really into them, but I can't binge. I never binge things. Only Murders in the Building, literally watched it in a single sitting, all 8 or whatever episodes. Like, it is phenomenally good. If you're a fan of like Knives Out or any of those kinds of murder mysteries, you will love this show. It is genuinely so good. Cannot recommend it enough. It's really good. If you haven't got that already.
Who is the main character of the show?
It's Selena Gomez, Steve Martin, and Martin Short.
Selena Gomez. Okay. So she hosted SNL a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, and she had mentioned the show. And she had mentioned like working with Martin Short and Steve Martin. And I was like, oh, okay, you have my attention. This might be interesting.
It's hilarious, and it's like genuinely, I could not guess the twists. It's really good. It's really well done.
Maybe we'll have to watch this. This is season 2, you said, coming up, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
Miss Frizzle? Who said Miss Frizzle, Justin?
Oh, no. Don't insult Selena Gomez like that. All right. Resident Evil is coming July 14th to Netflix. Act surprised at this synopsis. The story centers on Jade Wesker, a young girl who is trying to survive in a post-apocalyptic world caused by a global deadly virus. Jade sets out to find what happened to her sister while battling diseased creatures and
I don't know.
Haunted by her past. And haunted by her past.
Sure, yeah. A being haunted by her past, maybe, is what they meant to type. I didn't proofread. Sorry to Screen Rant or IndieWire or whoever it was. All right, next up, What We Do in the Shadows, July 12th. Oh, this one's a little bit out of order, so that one comes out 2 days before Resident Evil. But July 12th on FX/Hulu, the consistently magnificent comedy based on Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement's movie of the same name returns with more vampires, werewolves, and the mighty Guillermo. I really enjoyed the show. I watched all 3 seasons like a few months ago, I want to say. So I'm excited that a 4th one's coming out so soon for me. I enjoyed it.
That's good. I'm happy for you. She-Hulk. I'm getting all the good ones. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law.
I'm getting all the ones that I watched.
August 17th. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, August 17th on Disney+. Tatiana Maslany plays Jennifer Walters, a.k.a. She-Hulk, with Mark Ruffalo reprising his role as Bruce Banner and an incredible A-list cast rounding out the rest of the characters. The 9-part first season will follow Jennifer as she juggles her life as an attorney in her 30s, who occasionally transforms into the 6'7" superhero She-Hulk. This one also looks really good.
It looks good, but the CGI for She-Hulk genuinely looks like she was created in the Sims character builder.
You're not wrong. I do agree with that.
It's a little weird, but like I'm still excited for the show. I think it should be good.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Yeah, I could see the CGI issue.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the Marvel shows have had like weird budgets or just weird CGI. Like Moon Knight was fun, but like the CGI was also a little like, I'll just squint my eyes. It's fine. I'll pretend this was made like 10 years ago. But whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, next up. This one's not for me at all, but maybe one day I'll watch Game of Thrones. House of the Dragon, August 21st, HBO. HBO's House of the Dragon is set 200 years before Game of Thrones, which is about how long it feels since we used to tune into that show every week. Dust off that Targaryen, right? Targaryen family tree you bookmarked in 2017 because the spin-off series is all about the dragon-blooded royal family with the silver hair and love of, well, each other. Following the events of the Targaryen Civil War and George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood, Paddy Considine stars as King Viserys, the first Targaryen, I guess? I don't know what this means. And Matt Smith as Prince Daemon and Emma Darcy as Princess Rhaenyra. I don't know how to pronounce these names. Most importantly, Emmy-winning Ramin Djawadi returns as the composer, which means someone at HBO is cooking up one hell of a title sequence. So for all you Game of Thrones fans, something else to get excited about.
I'll tell you what. I watched Game of Thrones, and I watched the trailer for this, and I'm like, okay. Like, it's an extreme prequel. This isn't like 5 years before the events of Game of Thrones. This is 200 years. So I'm good. This is like...
It's like if you enjoyed like the vibe of Game of Thrones, sure, but if you like the characters, you're not going to see them here.
This is like The Hobbit, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, like the extreme prequels. So.
And also like Lord of the Rings of Power. Why don't you tell us more about that one?
Oh, yeah, Lord of the Rings of Power coming September 2nd to Amazon Prime Video. Before there was Game of Thrones, there was J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings, which took the fantasy world by storm. Almost a full decade after the last Lord of the Rings movie, the franchise is making its small screen debut on September 2nd, thanks to Amazon Prime Video, with the release of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. That was literally, all of that was just telling us about the title. However, fans should keep in mind that The Rings of Power does not have direct ties to The Lord of the Rings or Hobbit trilogies, set thousands of years before the events of the franchise. The series will follow all major events that took place during Middle-earth's Second Age, which included forging the Rings of Power and the last known alliance between elves and men. Congratulations, people. I have no interest in watching any of these prequels.
200 years before? How about thousands of years before?
Yeah.
But yeah.
You thought hundreds?
I'd say I'm
thousands.
Oh my god. I say I'm genuinely excited for everything on this list, like, except for those last two, and probably Resident Evil. The Resident Evil one, I'm really tempering my expectations because pretty much every live-action adaptation of Resident Evil ever has not been good.
Is bad.
So
bad.
Maybe this one will break the curse, but assuming it's also bad, then yeah, everything else on this list looks to make for a very busy summer in terms of TV shows. And then we got movies. So let's jump into that one. This one comes from The Daily Beast because a lot of these movies I don't know. I feel like we could have spoken to a lot of these TV shows, but these movies I definitely can't speak to all of them. So, from The Daily Beast, we're starting off with Top Gun Maverick, which comes out this Friday. Well, Thursday if you go to see movies early, but this Friday in theaters. Nobody runs or flies planes on screen better than Tom Cruise. Miles Teller is at his best, playing the tortured pupil desperate for acceptance. And Glenn Powell has incredible abs. Val Kilmer's charisma knows no bounds. And Jennifer Connelly may be the most stunning woman alive. All of these are on full display in the supercharged sequel, coming 36 years after the original. I'm surprised that Tom Cruise, can still do all these things. That man I feel like he's a cyborg.
They just released a trailer for Mission Impossible, something.
Oh, right.
The title is Volume 1 or Part 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
He just keeps doing these things, and
yeah,
I don't know how does he do
this
it?
This movie was supposed to come out in 2020. I'm almost positive. And
yeah, this is definitely one of the delayed ones.
It's fascinating to me how many movies we are still seeing from 2020.
Yep.
The second Minions movie, we saw a preview for it when we saw Doctor Strange, I guess. We saw a preview for it, and I'm like, holy shit! there was merchandise out for that movie in the middle of 2020. Like,
Yeah. That's why there's
it's
so much
crazy.
TV and so many movies coming out this summer because of all the delays. Like, we're finally catching up.
Right.
There is a lot.
Yeah, so that's good. I don't know if I'll ever watch Top Gun Maverick, but I'm happy for people that are happy about it.
Oh, this next one is more so I'm excited for it. I think this is definitely not something for you at all.
You can take this if you want. It's fine.
So, Crimes of the Future, June 3rd in theaters. It's nice to see body horror maestro David Cronenberg returning to icky territory in his first film in 8 years. It is set in a dystopian future where people don't feel pain and derive sexual pleasure from surgery. It sees surgical performance artist couple Viggo Mortensen and Léa Seydoux? I don't know, it's a French name. Tussle with a horny neophyte, a very game Kristen Stewart. There will be gore and orgasms. Apparently this one was reported, I remember seeing an article about it, in screenings at like film festivals and things. People were like getting up and walking out because the body horror was too extreme. So I'm excited for this one.
I
Wish y'all could see
even
Paul's face right
know.
now. They're not watching the stream.
I don't know what to say about this. Oh, I see the IGN article. David Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future premiere sparks walkouts at cons.
I'm interested. I would like to see it.
This is fucking gross. Get this shit out of here. I have no patience for this shit. Jurassic World Dominion coming to theaters June 10th. No Jurassic Park film has come close to matching the excitement and wonder of Spielberg's original. So they decided to bring back original cast members Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum for this sequel directed by Colin Trevorrow. It's set 4 years after the events of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, where dinosaurs and humans now coexist, sort of. I'm super excited for Jurassic World. I am a big fan, if you didn't know. Yeah.
I never
am
saw
excited for this movie.
I never saw Fallen Kingdom, but
It was bad.
But like, I'm wondering, do I have to watch it to watch this one? Because like this one
Yeah,
kind of
you
looks
should watch
interesting.
it. You should watch it because like there's like a major plot point at the end that they kind of spoil here. But like, you should watch it.
Yeah, whatever.
It's like not. I don't know. It's interesting. You should watch it. It's not bad. I mean, it's bad, but it's not.
Unwatchable.
It's still enjoyable. Yeah, it's not unwatchable.
Yeah.
It's not like that shit that I just saw people's ears on someone's head. But yeah, no, it's not unwatchable.
Listen, Crimes of the Future has an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, and they're all people with bad taste. So
Are they?
All right, moving on.
Anyways, Lightyear coming from Pixar.
Speaking of prequels,
Speaking of prequels, June 17th in theaters. Finally, a Pixar movie in theaters. The quote from Daily Beast here says, "Is Pixar's Toy Story spinoff, this time voiced by featuring the voice of Chris Evans as the Space Ranger, a cash grab to sell toys and milk existing IP for every last drop? Sure. Will I see it? Probably." Evans is joined in the CGI romp, telling the origin story of the astronaut toy, by the vocal stylings of Keke Palmer, James Brolin, Taika Waititi, which I did not know, and Uzo Aduba. I'm excited for this one. I think it'll be good. I have faith.
I've seen more. I've watched the trailers, and it seems like it'll be a fun little movie. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't sold on it at first, and still not 100% sold on it, but it looks fun. So
It's better to go in with lighter expectations. What does Zendaya always say in No Way Home? Expect disappointment and you'll never be disappointed.
True.
There you go.
True. And Elvis is coming June 24th to theaters. Austin Butler does look good as Elvis, and it features Tom Hanks as Colonel Tom Parker, so maybe it'll be fun. Tom Hanks got COVID in March of 2020 shooting this film, so at least it helped convince some of us to take it seriously.
I remember being in the airport when we heard that news. I was like, what?
Yeah, it was
That's
like, Tom Hanks got
absolutely
COVID. What?
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, so this will be fun. I'm a big fan of these like movies based after either popular music groups or popular music individuals. Obviously, Rocket Man.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
I could see the poster in my head and with no title. And I'm like, yes, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about. I'm surprised they haven't done like an official one for the Beatles yet. I know they had that one.
Yeah, it was like a documentary one.
Yeah.
recently-ish.
So I'm shocked that they haven't done a full Beatles.
So the fun thing about this Elvis one is that it's directed by Baz Luhrmann, who did The Great Gatsby in 2013, which was like kind of famously divisive. Like people hated it or loved it. I personally liked it a lot, so I'm excited for Elvis. But I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Says Tom Hanks in it. Can't be bad.
Exactly. All right, The Black Phone coming also June 24th. June 24th is a big day. We have another one coming out on June 24th after this one. But this one also coming to theaters. This one is supposed to be released, I think, earlier this year, but it was delayed. But it's starring Ethan Hawke and reuniting the sinister duo of director Scott Derrickson and star Ethan Hawke. There we go. It tells a lurid tale of a 13-year-old boy who's being held hostage in a dank basement by a demented killer, Ethan Hawke, and who begins receiving messages on the black phone from the madman's previous victims, who hope to bring the youngster from meeting a similar fate. So another horror movie. Nothing for you, but looks great. I'm really excited for it. This will be a busy day at the movie theater. We'll do a triple feature.
Not the triple feature. Oh my god.
Maybe.
I can't.
I don't think A-list can. Movies. I don't think A-list can support that.
No, probably can't. All right. The moment you've all been waiting for. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On is coming to theaters June 24th. What started as probably even before YouTube. Actually, let me read this. It was back in 2010 that Dean Flesher Camp and Jenny Slate uploaded a series of stop-motion animated short films to YouTube centering on Marcel, an anthropomorphic.
There you go.
I was getting there. Seashell sporting cute little shoes, voiced by Slate, being interviewed by a documentary filmmaker. Now, the mockumentary's been given the feature film treatment, exploring Marcel's complicated relationship with his live-in grandma, voiced by the oh my god, these words. Inimitable Isabella Rossellini. Who is Isabella Rossellini? I don't know this name.
I don't know, but she's inimitable, apparently. I had no idea that Jenny Slate voiced Marcel until tonight. I just thought it was like a funny YouTube video. I had no idea that it was...
If you hit me in the face with a picture of Jenny Slate, I'd be like, yes, okay.
You 100% know Jenny Slate. She's done a lot of cartoon voices. She does voices in Big Mouth.
When the hell did I ever watch Big Mouth?
Did you ever watch Parks and Rec?
Oh, she's in Zootopia.
Yeah, she's in Everything Everywhere All at Once. She's in...
I haven't seen that movie either.
She's in Parks and Rec. You know that one meme where it's like, I had to stop following NASA on Instagram because they post a picture of a black hole and just be like, ah! That's Jenny Slate. Never seen that one either? Anyways. I don't know what to tell you.
I'll spend more time on the TikToks.
Jenny Slate's very funny. It's not even a TikTok meme. That's like an old-ass meme from 2015.
Okay,
all right.
Okay.
Next up, Thor, Love and Thunder, July 8th in theaters.
Intense screaming.
That's it. I don't have anything else to say about that.
I'll tell you what. The trailer that came out last night was pretty good.
Yeah.
But I can't say it was, like, incredible. Like, the first trailer, I think, got me hella hyped.
Yeah.
And the second trailer, I was like, just show me the movie already.
I'm excited for it regardless. I think it's going to be really good. I trust Taika Waititi with my life. So, everything he does is really good.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
All
right.
Yes.
Next
up is The Gray Man, coming July 15th to theaters and Netflix, apparently. $200 million action blockbuster, the most expensive film in Netflix history. The film centers on Court Gentry, played by Ryan Gosling, a CIA assassin who becomes the target of a global hunt after stumbling upon the agency's darkest secrets. Leading the charge is Lloyd Hansen, played by Chris Evans, a psychopathic ex-colleague, while Ana de Armas... and Regine Page...
Regé-Jean Page. Come on, it's French, Paul.
Regé? I don't know. That's not Regé.
It's absolutely how you pronounce it.
Jessica Henwick, Danush?
I don't know what that is. I don't know, sorry.
Billy Bob Thornton and Alfred Woodard. This is bad.
Woodard.
This is like
maybe you should take a class.
Maybe I should take a class in pronouncing people's names. Feature as well. Netflix is hopeful that it will kickstart a popular franchise. We shall see.
Oh, we should mention that this is directed by the Russo brothers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's a very big blockbuster for Netflix. I didn't realize that this was the most expensive one they ever produced.
I'm surprised it's not called The Flayed Man. It's called The Gray Man.
It's because he's invisible. He's gray. Anyway, Nope. Coming July 22nd to theaters. Jordan Peele's directorial debut, Get Out, was a masterpiece and sparked a seemingly endless array of lame knockoffs. Well, the man himself has chosen to follow the Reagan satire Us with the sci-fi horror film that sees the owners and workers of a storied black-owned ranch in rural California contend with beings from Elsewhere. Ooh.
Elsewhere spooky.
Nope reunites Peel with his Get Out star Daniel Kaluuya, one of the most charismatic actors around, along with Keke Palmer, Stephen Yeun, and Euphoria's Barbie Ferreira, and an underrated character actor, Michael Wincott. I don't know who that is, but he's underrated, so I guess that makes sense. As to why I don't know.
Makes total sense.
But very excited for this one as well. It's aliens.
Yeah, I the trailers looked interesting. There's all these posters all over the place.
Yeah. I like the simplicity in the title. Nope.
Yeah, nope.
Nope, I'm good.
And speaking of simplicity, Bullet Train is coming to theaters August 5th. From John Wick co-director David Leitch comes this wild action flick about a killer, played by Brad Pitt. Oh, I remember this trailer. Who agrees to one last job, to retrieve a briefcase on a bullet train traveling from Tokyo to Kyoto. The problem, it's filled with a whole bunch of fellow assassins who want the same thing he does. Aaron Taylor Johnson, Joey King, Brian Tyree Henry, Andrew Koji, Michael Shannon, Bad Bunny, and Zazie Beetz.
Yeah.
Okay, good, thank you. All try to take out William Bradley Pitt, while Sandra Bullock pops up as his trusted or not handler. This looked pretty good. It grabbed my attention. It seems to be decently well shot.
Yeah. John Wick movies are, like, spectacular across the board. All three of them. They have no issues. So I would be shocked if this is even a little bit bad. And also has a really cool cast, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it does definitely seem fun.
Yes. And then last but not least, to round up...
Glad I didn't get this one.
The movies. I'm glad I got all the horror movies, at least. Bodies. This is another A24 film coming August 5th to theaters. This horror comedy from Dutch filmmaker Helena Rayen, I guess, involves a group of 7 people, 5 good friends and 2 new romantic partners, who find themselves trapped in a mansion during a hurricane. So they play the party game Bodies, which I've never heard of, but maybe someone in the... I don't know.
That's real.
Maybe it is. Only people begin to actually turn up dead. Amanda Stenberg and Borat subsequent movie films Maria Bakalova anchor the proceedings, while Shiva Babies, Rachel Sennott, and comic Pete Davidson steal every damn scene they're in. This has been making the rounds in like movie festivals because I've been hearing a lot of buzz about it, and then I was like, oh, it comes out August 5th. Why is everyone so hyped about it? So it's been very well received. It seems to be very good, so I'm excited. It
has a 96 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's been really, really... This has been a really good year for movies overall. Like, we're not even halfway through it. I mean, we're almost halfway through it, but, like, it's been a lot of really, really good movies so far. Everyone... This is my, weekly promo to please go see Everything Everywhere All at Once, because it is incredible. All right.
This actually looks like something that I might consider watching.
Yeah, I feel like horror comedy, that's fun. You can get into it.
Maybe I could.
All right, shall we switch gears into games? Our
Let's do it.
Quaint little list of a few games here.
Yeah, there's literally like 2, 4,
I was
6,
like digging,
7.
and I was like, oh, there really is nothing coming out, and then everything comes out in like October onwards. There's a shit ton of stuff in October onwards.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot of stuff coming out in Q4.
Yeah.
So, all right, do you want to start? Or do you want me to start?
You can start. I'll take the horror one in that case.
Oh, wonderful. All right, so these come from Polygon and Inverse. So, Mario Strikers Battle League is coming to Nintendo Switch on June 10th. Mario Strikers Battle League replaces typical soccer with Strike, a 5-on-5 version of the beautiful game that eschews...
Yes.
Thank you for the reassurance. Any semblance of order for unadulterated chaos. Instead of catching someone offside, you can shoulder them into an electric fence. Fans of previous Mario Striker titles may be particularly excited for Battle League, given that it's the series' first entry in a whopping 15 years. These games are awesome. So Mario Strikers came out for the first time on Nintendo GameCube.
Yes.
And then Mario Strikers Charged came out on Wii. And these games are a lot of fun.
I think I only played the GameCube one briefly, but I never played the Wii one, and but I always enjoyed the GameCube one, so I think I'll definitely pick this one up. I'm not really generally a big fan of Mario sports games. I never played Mario Tennis, but I think I'll pick this one up. This looks like a lot of fun.
I played a lot of Mario Tennis actually. So the Mario Tennis on Switch I played a lot of. I really enjoyed Mario Tennis for Nintendo 64 when it first came out, and then I missed some of the other ones on GameCube and stuff that came out. So, but I played a lot of Mario Tennis. The hell is it called? Not Mario Tennis Open. I'll have to think about it.
I had it on my list of games to possibly play, and I was like, maybe I'll play this. I don't know. Anyways,
Mario
next up,
Tennis Aces.
Aces, there it is. On the same exact day, The Quarry is coming out on PS4 and 5, Xbox One, and Series X and S, and PC. The Quarry follows a ragtag band of 9 teenagers working as counselors at Hackett's Quarry Summer Camp. It's your last day on the job, and with neither kids nor adults around to bother you, you decide to have a party. Yes, a party hosted by teenagers on the final day of camp. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. So this is this is Supermassive's next swing at an Until Dawn style horror game, which I famously could not complete because it was so poorly done, but I guess that was on purpose. But this one looks to be a little bit better performance capture and audio, so maybe it'll be playable to me. I don't know, maybe I'm just really picky about these kinds of things. But this says it's worth noting that The Quarry looks like a real love letter to old school horror cinema, complete with cutting edge performance capture and even a movie mode that reduces the amount of player input necessary to finish the story, which I find is really interesting because if you're just looking for a good time and you don't really necessarily want to play the game, you could just kind of like make the decisions that change the story, because there's a lot of different endings and a lot of different decisions that can be made to change how the game is. So a lot of replay value there, and if you don't want to necessarily worry about, actually playing it, you can kind of just watch it and choose your own adventure, so to speak. So that's cool. That's like a fun accessibility mode.
Yeah. This is. I guess we'll see how this is. You never finished Until Dawn, right?
No, I literally couldn't get through it. I was like, this is too cheesy for me.
Yeah, it's bad. So, well, not bad, but I couldn't get through it either. So, what is not bad is Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout is finally coming to Xbox and Switch on June 21st. And oh, by the way, it's coming out for free.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that part.
Yeah, yes. So it's going free to play. So it'd be very exciting to have that available on other platforms as well.
Yes.
So sure that'll breathe new life into the game.
Yeah. And then we got Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes coming on June 24th to Switch. Building off the Fire Emblem Warriors Musou game, 3 Hopes tells an alternate timeline version of 3 Houses. Just like that in that tactical RPG, you can choose from 3 storylines, one for each of the game's warring houses. So for fans of these kind of Musou-style Warriors games, congratulations. I feel like they're kind of like divisive in the series, but
I don't know why they keep like bringing them, but I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. They keep bringing these Musou games, which I don't know. Like they did the next Hyrule Warriors. I don't know, and they did Fire Emblem Warriors, and now they're doing a second one. I didn't think Fire Emblem Warriors 1 did well, but I guess I'm wrong.
It must have to warrant making another one. I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Who knows?
It's good stuff. Happy for all the Musou fans out there.
Yes.
Speaking of fans that I'm happy for, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is coming to Nintendo Switch on July 29th, which is a hell of a lot earlier than people initially thought. So it's been nearly 5 years since the launch of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, so it's only natural that Nintendo fans have gone borderline feral about the prospect of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Justin, being in the chat, can definitely attest to this, being just a couple months away. So, exciting. This looks cool. I'm not going to play this one either, but I'm happy for y'all that will.
Yes. Saints Row, August 23rd. We're almost at the end of summer already. That's how few games are coming out. PS4 and 5, Xbox One and Series X and S, and PC. Currently in development at Volition, Saints Row will be the first entry in the series in quite a while. If you include Gat Outta Hell, which most people don't, it will have been 7 years by the time launch rolls around. If you go off of Saints Row 4, however, it will have been 9, almost a decade since last entry. So again, this is kind of like a reboot of the series. It's not a direct sequel, more of like a spiritual reboot. But I don't know, it looks like it could be interesting. I feel like there was a lot of like weird reception to the initial trailers and previews. I didn't really look into it too deeply because I wasn't ever like a huge fan of Saints Row, but I think I own the 4th one, and I like played it a little bit, and I was like, wow, yeah, you can hit people with dildos, okay. So sure, maybe it'll be fun.
Yeah, I think this reboot looks pretty good. So hopefully it'll do well and it'll get some attention and it'll be good, and that'll be good.
Yeah,
fingers are crossed. And speaking of games that we all hope are good,
yes,
Splatoon 3 is coming out on September 9th.
I'm genuinely really excited for this one. I feel like I can finally get into a Splatoon game because I won't have Overwatch hanging over my head.
Yeah, so, I mean, pretty exciting summer for Nintendo with, obviously, Mario Strikers coming out on June 10th. Nintendo Switch Sports just came out recently, so pretty solid stuff here. And then looking into,
I completely forgot Nintendo Switch Sports came out. I need to buy that. Literally. Anyway.
Yeah, good job. Congratulations. You
Clown
did.
hours. Yeah.
Then looking into like the fall for the Switch, at least you've got, because all the other games seem to be getting delayed into the next dimension. So, I mean, Hogwarts Legacy is coming to multi-platform, right? And then for Switch specifically, you've got Pokemon Violet, Pokemon Scarlet, and then what else is confirmed for this year? I'm sure we'll find out in just another month or so, because E3 season, not E3 because it's canceled, is right around the corner. So I'd imagine we'll get a Nintendo Direct probably in the next 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, I guess. Probably.
Hopefully.
Unless they just... Because I don't remember if last year with, like, E3 also having been canceled, if they did something around this time. Or, I can't remember. I don't know. But,
I don't know.
We shall see. I know for sure we have an Xbox presentation lined up, and also a Summer Game Fest, and there's a few other fests. There's, like, a PC game something, and then there's, like, a few other, like, indie ones, that are focused more on just indie games, obviously. So a lot of different little smaller events, which we'll be sure to grab all the news from and report to y'all.
Yeah, you know what's pretty crazy? I'm just like, this is all just hitting me now. The Xenoblade Chronicles, there was an effort a long time ago called Project Rainfall. And it was people begging for 3 games to be localized. I had to think of the word there, sorry. Localized over to America. Xenoblade Chronicles, The Last Stories are 3 Wii games, and Justin, help me out here, something Tower.
Xeno Tower? I don't know, I'm just making this up.
No, shit. Project Rainfall.
Tower Chronicles? Xenoblade Tower. I'm just Googling that. Sealed Tower? Radio Tower? No.
Operation Rainfall is the name of the thing. Operation Rainfall, and then it was Pandora's Tower, I think is what it is. Yes, Pandora's Tower. Yeah, so Pandora's Tower, and they're like these 3 games that all came out on Wii that just were not localized, and ended up all getting localized over to America. So pretty crazy to think that had these people not pushed as hard as they did for Xenoblade to get ported over, Nintendo never would have known like how popular this game was in America. So anyway, that's my little.
What's the one game that like all the old school Nintendo fans have been begging Nintendo to port over for?
Mother 3.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm just making sure. I don't want to say Mother or like Earthbound without knowing for sure.
Mother 3. Yeah,
and it never will be.
Yeah. Yeah, it never will be. It seems that it's never coming out. But
they don't always listen.
They don't always listen. So it's good stuff.
There is an unofficial English fan translations, though.
Oh, there's a lot. Somebody actually even made a strategy guide. They like made like a strategy guide for the game. Like there's a whole nother there's a lot of people out there that are very dedicated to keeping things afloat. So there's obviously people that have translated the game. There's official strategy guides. Let me see.
Unofficial,
3.
but yeah.
Well, right, yeah. Sorry, unofficial guide. I actually bought it years ago to support them. The Mother 3 handbook. Yeah, it's still for sale. It's through Fangamer now. $32, and it's got like custom artwork that looks just like the clay models that they had. It's pretty crazy.
It's cute.
272 pages.
Absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it is. It's very cool.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna try to play games more, unrelated to anything we're talking about.
Yeah,
I need to play more games. I haven't played a new game in a while, and I think it's time.
Yeah, it's time. It's time to play.
It's time. The time is now. All right. Speaking of the time, it is time for us to end this episode. Thank you all for listening to episode 142, summer preview of What the Funcast. This is Paul and Ahmed.
Yes.
Signing off.
Thanks, y'all. Catch y'all later. Peace.